You would ask me if I feel completely secure. Of course, like everybody here in Republic of Moldova, there is an element of uncertainty because, as you said, the war is ongoing in the neighboring country, and there are a stream of smaller provocations in Transnistria. So it is difficult to feel completely at ease in this situation. If you ask me about if there is some imminent threat for the Republic of Moldova, I can say that no, we don't see this imminent threat. Neither do the Moldovan authorities, nor do see the international partners of Republic of Moldova. And of course, from our side, we are also doing what we can to provide reassurances for the stable development of the country. And this you can see from, for instance, the very many high-level visits to the Republic of Moldova. Because on the one side, it means that there is the concern how the situation could develop, and this is also our way how to show our solidarity with the country, to demonstrate clearly that we are supporting the independence and sovereignty of Republic of Moldova, and that we are ready to provide continuous assistance to the Republic of Moldova so that it can develop in a peaceful and calm manner. When it comes to the refugee crisis, I think the country has handled the crisis remarkably well from day one. In fact, what I saw from day one was remarkable both from the government and from the society. Because, well, the country has faced many crises, but on this crisis, the government had a clear plan in place. It was putting it in place and implementing from day one. Similarly, it was remarkable, and perhaps even more remarkable, how the people responded here. Because for one of the poorest countries of Europe to be able to host sometimes even more than 100,000 refugees in their homes, because more than 90% of the refugees were and are hosted in homes, is really a remarkable sign of solidarity and what I would call a European spirit. From our side, what we have been doing is we have been supporting the government of Republic of Moldova also from day one. By now, 17 EU member states have provided direct assistance through the European Union Civil Protection Mechanism to the Republic of Moldova on very practical matters ranging from tents to electricity generators to beds to medical kits, so everything that the country needed to address the immediate needs, and that support was worth 15 million euros as of now. But not everything can be measured in money alone. We reinforced the mandate of EU border assistance mission so that these missions, which had been working in the country and in Ukraine, could deliver better support to the Republic of Moldova in this time. Similarly, now more than 70 experts from the Frontex are operating, and this was also quite remarkable for us because usually to set a program up like that, it would take a year perhaps, and it was set up in 2 weeks. So
why so fast?
Because everybody realized that this was not a regular situation, that this was a crisis situation, and the government had reached out to the European Commission. So a solution was found that these experts can be put in place very quickly.
Do you have any communication with Transnistrian authorities in this regard?
Not on particular details, not on everyday level. I think this is very good that the government has these daily contacts. I have been in Transnistria for a visit. When I will have the opportunity again, I will do that again. So I did talk with the de facto authorities, also with civil society, working there, helping refugees in fact. But what we are also doing in Transnistria are the so-called confidence-building projects, which means that we have a range of projects both on the left bank and on the right bank of Dniester River.
Do you see here a problem of disinformation and the presence of many Russian TV channels in Moldova, in every house actually?
Well, disinformation is clearly a problem. And this is something that we have also been working to counteract as European Union, for instance, by providing some of the information materials in Romanian language on social media. And again, yes, the role of mass media is very important, and also the role of audiovisual council. So some of the outlets have been suspended, but this is a constant work. It is very important to draw the very fine line between fighting disinformation, fighting war propaganda, and freedom of expression and freedom of media. And that is why it is very much important that the institutions concerned operate in a clear legal field and also with a clear understanding of their role. And that's why we are also supporting through one of the projects that is coming up, also the audiovisual council's work, so that it can be qualified to perform these supervision functions.
From the security crisis and disinformation crisis, let's go to the energy crisis and economical, financial crisis here in Moldova. We have them all. What to do with the energy crisis? Because many European countries refused already to have Russian gas, and Moldova is very much dependent from gas and energy. And if to connect to everything else, Moldova needs help.
Well, Moldova has been receiving help and will continue receiving help. Our first help in this area came when you started having the energy crisis in last fall. Our first expert was brought into the country 24 hours after the beginning of the crisis, and that, with the EU assistance, Moldova was then able to conclude this contract, which has its flaws, but at least it has managed to get Republic of Moldova through the winter, and you still have that contract in place. But it also brought to light the importance of strengthening the energy independence of the country. So it is not about losing a particular source of energy, it's about having alternatives. It's good that the country has been working on some of the issues for some time. For instance, that the fact that the Republic of Moldova does have the gas interconnection with Romania makes at least this possibility to have gas from elsewhere. But there are multiple areas where the country needs to continue work, and we are very much gratified that both for the president and for the government this is a priority, that work will continue. I don't think you will see any miracle solutions, because any solutions in this area take time. Be it new interconnections, be it improved electrical connections, or be it energy efficiency.
Moldova is more than ever interested to apply for EU membership. Why would European Union need such a poor and desperate member?
Yes, that is a very good question, because quite often there is a suspicion that there must be some reason why they want us. And the truth is that for the European Union, the philosophy is largely the peace project philosophy. That's why we are engaged with the Republic of Moldova now, so that we can help the country develop as a democracy, as a prosperous country. And that's why currently the discussions are ongoing whether this relationship can be brought to the next step. None of the countries that have joined the European Union have been richer than the European Union average. But it has been also very clear that this is a way how countries can get richer. To give you the Latvian example, when we had applied for EU membership a long time ago, in the 90s, our GDP was roughly 40% of the EU average. By now it is around 70% of EU average, and it's growing. Latvia has bypassed some of the older member states. So this is a way how the prosperity can come to the country.
Another crisis we have here is the fight with corruption. Moldova, being a champion with corruption cases at the highest level for many years, doesn't have a good, proper system of fighting corruption. How do you see the successes of Moldova in this regard?
I think there have been successes for the new government, because despite all these crises, if there has been one area where the government has been consistently moving forward with reforms, that is the reforms of judiciary and cleaning up the corruption. So the key element, of course, has been the changes to constitution, but in the medium term, what has been very significant is the movement forward with the pre-vetting process, which has also had the support of the European Union and other international partners. Not only has had, but it continues to have this support. We helped identify the international experts for this evaluation committee that will be evaluating the candidates for the Superior Council of Magistracy and Superior Council of Prosecution. And this will be one of the directions, I think, which will help the country to clean up. Again, this will not be a quick fix.
Right in these moments, prosecutors are in the house of the former president of Moldova. He is accused of corruption and laundering money and illegal activities, financial activities. Do you think Moldova has no capacity to prosecute a very high person like a former president to do it correctly?
Well, that is the question for the prosecution. What we are following is two aspects. One is that there is the political aspect to it, because obviously he is linked to one of the political forces active in the Republic of Moldova. So we will be closely following how this case develops, because, well, the work of the opposition when it is in the political domain should be not hampered. At the same time, nobody should be above the law. So if there are reasons to investigate, then this investigation should happen, but also, again, without outside interference. So on this we can follow the process, but not get involved in it directly.
One of the complaints of Moldovan authorities is that many important, high, corrupt politicians manage to get away. They live in some EU countries, and also they keep their assets, their businesses in European countries. Is there any way to get those assets back and those money that are stolen from Moldovan people?
I think there's several elements to it. This morning, in fact, just before coming to you, I was at the first working group on anti-corruption, which has been convened as a follow-up to the Berlin conference, and this one is chaired by Romania and United Kingdom, with the involvement of Ministry of Justice, and that was exactly the discussion on how to support Republic of Moldova also on those issues. So there are several avenues. Some of it is policy. For instance, the European Union also has high-level advisors to the Republic of Moldova on anti-corruption, on money laundering, or rather anti-money laundering, and on justice, who are active in the area. And then it is also a matter of direct dialogue with the member states, because this is a process which is bilateral between Republic of Moldova and member states. And there are two components in that track as well. One is the individuals concerned, so help of the countries to investigate those cases. For instance, there has been joint investigation team created with Latvia, so that this information can get exchanged. And the other aspect is the asset recovery, and on that, again, it is a matter of discussions with the country is concerned, how and if it is possible to recover the funds that have been stolen.
You are cooperating with Gagauzia a lot. We see many EU projects in Gagauzia. However, people in this region remain reluctant to European integration and cooperation. What do you think should be done else there?
Well, we are engaged in all regions of Republic of Moldova, and Gagauzia is no exception. In fact, we did have a particular focus on Gagauzia several years ago, and the idea was that this region needed also to raise capacity for preparing projects. And these projects that have been aimed both at the local authorities and at the civil society there have been successful. And so now we do not have a particular focus on Gagauzia because we feel that they are able to prepare projects, applications as everybody else. So this is also the way how we will continue in the future. How to change people's attitudes? Well, I think the answer is the way we are doing it, namely that we're not singling out pro-European or anti-European parts, if you would use those labels, which I would rather not. But also just showing what the European Union is, what it can do for the development of the country and for closer integration with the European Union, because at the end of the day, what we do here is for the benefit of the citizens, be it support to Moldovan media, be it support to the Moldovan government, or be it support to small and medium-sized enterprises or exporters in general. One figure which I always like to recall is that 2/3 of Moldova's trade, or 2/3 of Moldovan exports are towards the European Union market. So this is, I think, where the Moldova's future is, with closer integration of the country with the European Union, and thus also bringing prosperity to its people. And if we manage to do that, then we will also manage to convince those who are more skeptical about the European Union.
You are here for almost a year. How did you discover Moldova? What is a discovery for you here?
Okay, well, on very pragmatical terms, my discovery had been placinta, because I had never had it in my life. But
Placinta with brânză or with what?
all of them, with brânză, with potatoes, with cabbage, and with cherries, and poppy seeds. So this has been the range of my gastronomic discoveries here. But seriously, I have seen that this is a very dynamic country, and this is a country which is at a very promising moment in history, because this is a moment for which the European Union has been working for years, advocating for some of the changes that previous governments were uneager to implement, and now we have both the President and the Prime Minister and the government that are willing to have change. So it is also a responsibility for us how to best support this change.
It is complicated anyway to be a citizen of Moldova and to try to develop your life. If you would be a young Moldovan, what would be your argument to remain in the country when it is easier than ever to travel to any EU countries with visa-free regime?
I would have two answers, and in opposite directions. One, it's not necessarily a bad thing to go abroad. I myself, I have studied abroad, and this has benefited myself. And, well, I would hope that also when I have come back, I have been able to give something back. And that gets me to the second part about giving back, because I think if I was a young person today, this is the country of opportunities. If there's shortages of human resources for the government, that means the opportunity for the young people to fill those gaps When I joined the civil service, I was 23. I have had the chance to do so many interesting things that I could never dream. Here I would think that you can do many interesting things, change the history of your country in a way that you will not be able to in 5 or 10 years from now. But also I think it is choosing your future, because Moldova is a beautiful country. If you manage collectively to build it up, build it stronger, it's a very good life that you can have. Președinte is great and so is the Moldovan wine, but to enjoy that you need to raise your living standard. So perhaps for young people, one advice would be to seriously consider the career in information technology sector, because this is a very growing sector here in Moldova. I know that the sector needs more people. I know this is a sector where people are earning 3 times the average salary. So already now you can have a pretty good life here in Republic of Moldova without leaving it and doing things that you hopefully like.